just the best part of my day.
Nope, scratch that. Reverse it.
My grandma and your grandma were sitting by the fire. My grandma told your grandma, I'm gonna set your flag on fire. Talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. I go one day. Oh, Jacques Finade, Jacques Finade. Look at my king all dressed in red. I go one day. I bet you $5 he'll kill you dead. Jacques Finade. Talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. I go one day.
Last week, I had something of a Broadway week. Certainly, for the first time in my time in New York, I saw 2 shows on the Great White Way of Broadway. I had a friend in town from college, and all he wanted to do was see Broadway. And I was like, I have money for like 2 Broadway week tickets if we were like splitting the cost. You know what I mean?
Totally.
The first that I saw was Shooked. Erin, I don't know if you've been inundated with pictures of corn all around New York City, but
yes, no, I've heard of it because I have a friend she was an usher on like Funny Girl, and so I think I don't know if she like just works at that theater and whatever happens, or if she works at different theaters, but she was saying that was like her favorite new musical, and I watched the Tony performance, and I've seen clips. I still haven't listened to the original cast recording, but so I still sort of have no idea what it's about other than that corn is involved. And
that's basically it. That's all. You got it. You know the whole thing.
I kind of want to keep it that way because if I ever do go see it, I feel like I'll be actually really surprised by the story.
Absolutely. I think in a perhaps one-off instance of this being the case, the book of this musical is the thing that you want to go see. The music is kind of whatever. It feels like kind of whatever the Save the Cat equivalent for Broadway is, of like, when you one of these songs, when you one of these songs, when you one of these.
Interesting.
But the script is hilarious. I was laughing. The whole audience was rolling over a lot. Just a very, very, very funny show.
Wow. Okay.
I know. And not just Broadway funny, real funny. Like,
yeah. So it seems
100%.
like they know what they're doing. Like they're aware of kind of, I mean, if you're going to have a whole musical about corn and really just unapologetically, I really even thought when I was watching the Tony Awards performance, I was like, okay, maybe I'll see a song that's like, oh, this is the core heart of the musical. And then it was like them singing about corn. So the mystique is
probably
is
the opening
still there.
number of the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love
It was
mystique.
just, it's everything. That's the whole, our marketing campaign is just big ears of corn all over the subway.
Yeah.
It doesn't show you a character or anything. The character is the corn. The corn is like another character.
I mean, I feel like the fact that kid having that viral, that cone, I love cone, clip, it came at the perfect time for them. They were like, corn is part of the zeitgeist right now. I don't know if that was an accident or but I think it really helped, honestly, because everybody was already talking about corn. I feel like because of that kid.
They added a vamp too, right? Didn't they reference the song, the viral song in the
musical?
The viral song about the little boy with the corn?
Yeah, I think they referenced it.
If they did, I didn't catch it.
Amazing. Yeah, they must have been like, we have to add that in. I saw he went. I saw he was invited to go see it.
If there's one person you invite to the corn musical,
it's the Cone Kid. I love it.
It's the Cone Kid, 100%. And then last night I saw the weirdest Broadway show of my entire illustrious Broadway-going career, called Here Lies Love. Are either of you familiar with this show?
That I don't think. I feel like the last new Broadway musical I heard about was this Britney Spears one, and then and Juliet. So I don't know what Here's, and I heard about them, but I don't know anything about them. So I'm kind of behind. What's Here Lies Love?
Here Lies Love, music by David Byrne of the Talking Heads and Fatboy Slim of Fatboy Slim fame.
Oh, wait, I did hear about this.
Yes, and so the most interesting part of it was probably a basic story overline is that like there's a woman named Imelda Marcos who became prime minister of the Philippines and is one of the most hated people in Philippine history. Just absolutely spent all the country's money, tanked it, had her political enemies assassinated. You know, classic stuff. This was turned into a disco musical, where, and I think the biggest gimmick is that there is a huge dance floor seating section. So I was in the dance floor seating section where you are standing for the entire show on a big disco club style dance floor. And you are also moving constantly throughout the show because there are rotating pieces of scenery. And there are all these, like, ushers. You know, an usher in, like, a regular Broadway theater is, like, there's your seat. These ushers had to be in, like, big pink fashy jumpsuits with air traffic controller materials. And were, like, constantly directing tourists around because the stage would, like, rotate and, like, push everybody around. At one point, the stage, like, just shoots from one end of the area to the other. There's also regular seats if one chose to stand in there, but if one is of able body, you do kind of want to be up there on the dance floor because you're having a Coyote Ugly experience with the cast of a Broadway show.
Okay, 2 questions. One, did you know that was going to happen in the seats, or I should say the floor that you got tickets for? And 2, did you enjoy it? Because that's something about that. I think it would stress me out. Just the way it sounds. That I'm constantly being directed and moving. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'd be like, I'm just trying to watch the show.
I just want to see what happens.
I didn't think I was going to be in the show. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And don't worry, there is audience interaction from time to time. I did know that was the deal. I didn't know that it would be like moving around. I knew that we were on like the standing route, the groundlings seats, you know, but like if the groundlings were dancing in a disco club and if they were asked to jump up and down and throw their hands in the air.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so there is that. I did know that, and I will say, I don't know. I like a unique theater experience. I've never seen anybody try that before, and it does kind of like make you as the audience like feel complicit in the crimes that are about to be, you know what I mean? You're like, wow, I was a part of this party atmosphere and now the party's dead and it kind of feels like my fault. And I don't know, it's obviously gimmicky. You could never tour this show in the way they designed it for Broadway, but it's kind of interesting. It's like, Kat, that time you and I saw a musical that was set entirely in a wrestling ring in the middle of a concert venue.
Right. That is interesting. Okay, and I think that's like, the juxtaposition of like this part, like you said, this party atmosphere, and the chaos of it, and then the fact that the story actually is like so intense and important and serious that is really interesting. So I'm really behind. I feel like Broadway is doing so many things. They're just like, what's next? What has not been done?
What are we doing?
And
Back to the
I'm
Future.
very
What do we
behind
got?
on it.
What's gonna hit 100%?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I don't know if
cool.
Your Lies Love is the next Hamilton, but it was interesting. I'll say that. You never seen a show quite like that before. We're playing with something. We're trying something.
Unforgettable, yeah.
Unforgettable. Like, I'll never forget, like, being on the opposite side of a big open floor space as, like, a woman grieving her dead son, like, essentially comes flying at me on, like, a moving platform. You're like, I will carry that with me.
That is theater.
That's the theater. It should be right up in your face, confrontational. 100%. And this is, of course, Run the Julias, the first and only podcast brave enough, daring enough to attempt to cover every cinematic work by America's sweetheart, Julia Roberts. I am one of your hosts, TV's Kevin Lanigan, and with me, as always, is...
I'm Kat Scott. I use they, them pronouns, and I have seen the film Notting Hill.
And I have nodded that hill.
This
Amazing. And thank you. And joining us here today, an illustrious guest, a wonderful guest. You might know her from her New York improv team, the 96 Bulls, or you may know her from her wonderful music, available now wherever music is sold or streamed. This is, of course, Erin Harland. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm honestly honored to be here.
Well, it did have to be you, because for the entire time that I have known you, maybe with like a brief break in the middle, but basically for the whole time I've known you, your Instagram profile picture has been an image of Hugh Grant from the film Notting Hill.
Yes.
And to have a show where we would talk about Notting Hill and not bring you on, or at least ask you if you wanted to be on, would be something of a betrayal, I think.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it because honestly, I don't remember when I changed it to... I have had 2 photos from that movie. I think I excited people by saying I was thinking of changing my avatar finally, but then I just changed it to a different screenshot of Hugh Grant from the film Notting Hill.
That's a good bit.
Because I think it confuses a lot of people. And honestly, I don't know how to explain it, but I think one time I was just looking at photos of Hugh Grant and they all had this very like interesting energy to them. It's kind of like, I don't know, and maybe we'll get into that, but he's just kind of there, you know, looking pretty, but like also being this sort of blundering, you know, I guess, nice boy. Yeah.
A soft boy. A soft boy,
yes.
That a viewer of a film could look at and be like, I am not intimidated by him.
Yeah.
It's perfectly acceptable to fall in love with this person.
Absolutely. Like, wow, he's a model, but also he's just a normal guy.
He's just a regular guy. He's handsome, but he's not, like, too handsome. I think that's an important component of a male lead in a rom-com, is, like, they're good looking, but they're not like the most good looking guy you've ever seen.
Yeah. It's true. There's something about him. Something about like those crinkly eyes, which actually I relate to because I have like downturned eyes that I get like these little, definitely going to have like crow's feet as I get older. So, you know, I appreciate that in a movie star, I will say.
They're just like us. Movie stars should have wrinkles like regular people, and then you know it just makes you feel seen. Yeah, I guess you know what, we're already here. Let's talk about Big Hugh Grant.
Well, Kevin,
yes.
When you asked Erin to be part of the pod, were you just a boy standing in front of a girl asking her to be on your podcast?
I'm just a boy. DMing a girl.
Incredible. It's DMing my friend.
DMing my friend.
Yeah. Incredible.
Absolutely.
I think I was. I think that is a literal, honestly, very good joke, Kat. That made me laugh. You got me. But Big Hugh is, I mean, just a rom-com titan, a juggernaut of the genre. 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah.
Notting Hill. Love Actually. 2 Weeks Notice. Bridget Jones's Diary. I mean, come on. Folks, music and lyrics. He's up on the shelf. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And all within, so I did rewatch Notting Hill last night just to revisit it. And so afterwards, I went on Wikipedia and was like, well, when was his like first notable film? And I guess, yeah, that kind of launched him into fame, and it was 4 Weddings and a Funeral. And yeah, I think that was I know you have the IMDb pulled up, but I think 4 Weddings and a Funeral is what, 1992, 1994, something, somewhere
94.
around 94. Yeah. And then Notting Hill was 98, right?
99, the classic film year 99.
Okay, so all that happened within 5 years, but I read on Wikipedia that it said that Notting Hill happened after a 3-year hiatus, which means all those other movies he did happened within like 2 years, which is nuts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he really was
Absolutely.
like it. He was an it boy.
He was an It Boy. He was launched. He's, I'm learning about new Hugh Grant rom-coms that I wasn't even aware of here on IMDb.com. I'm looking at 9 months. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at these damn rom-coms. He made 1,000 of them. He made Sense and Sensibility with Ang Lee, which is not a romantic comedy, but
it's like romantic and English.
Yes, a very English. He owned the VHS rom-com era. If you owned a rom-com on VHS, there's a 97% chance that it was either written and directed by Nora Ephron or starred Hugh Grant.
Yep. And then I feel like if it wasn't Hugh Grant, it was like John Cusack or something.
Oh, Cusack.
If you wanted an American, you must. And America's sweethearts, So I feel like there was a rotation.
Yes.
There was a rotation for sure. Mm-hmm. Well, I have to ask you guys, and I'm sure you've explained it in other episodes, but why a podcast about Julia Roberts films? That's not a judgment. It's more, it's actually like, it's so incredible because even though I have this photo of Hugh Grant, when I was a kid, my sister's favorite actress was Julia Roberts. So I did grow up watching like all her movies, and kind of by extension, I mean, I didn't know who to say my favorite actress was, so it was also kind of Julia Roberts. So I just think this is amazing, and it touches a childhood part of me, and I just kind of want to know the story, how it came to be.
Yeah, it was actually a really like powerful and moving reason. So it was, well, Kevin, you go ahead. You tell it best.
It's a story that's close to my heart. I came up with the pun "Run the Julias," and we were off to the races from there.
You know what?
I mean, I've been working on a rom-com script for years now,
right.
And so like I've been putting in my time. I've been trying to studying the classics, and if you study rom-coms for long enough, you got to get to the Julias. And I think it inadvertently spawned off of that pun. I think it's a dense, interesting filmography that spans 4 decades, that passes through many of the great filmmakers of those decades, and is under-discussed as a body of work. I know she has an Oscar. We all know and love Julia, America's sweetheart, in the film America's Sweethearts. But it's not as discussed as a body of work as, say, an Al Pacino or someone like that, even though she'd probably been in more movies than Pacino. Like she ran the table, and she's done quote unquote high art, she's done quote unquote low art. It's all over the place. Yeah,
I totally agree with that. The title, for one thing, is like, sometimes when something has a great title, it needs to be made. Secondly, I think you're right. She is, because by the time even Notting Hill happens, when was Pretty Woman? Like 88?
1990.
1990.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's
Mystic Pizza was 88.
Okay. So it's been like 10 years. She's already got a decade under her belt. And then to do a very sort of meta movie about an actress who was like the biggest actress in the world, when Julia Roberts probably was one of the biggest actresses in the world. And I know we'll probably get to it, but that speech that she makes at dinner for the brownie and stuff, it's kind of like, so like what you're saying about the fact that she's sort of under discussed, it's like, it just, I don't know. I just totally agree. And I think that she maybe knows that. She knows like what her career is, and I think she's one of those actresses that just like does what a script comes along and she likes it and she does it,
Or does it for friends. I feel like she's at that point where it's like, even doing things that are interesting is a lot of work if you have like a specific like family life or something. So doing things for friends. I was thinking about that. What did we watch where I was like, this was definitely a favorite?
Ocean's 11.
No, I was thinking of Kate Blanchett did something that I was like, this was a favor for a friend.
That's cool.
Kate Blanchett, Guillermo del Toro, Nightmare Alley.
It was Pinocchio. I was like, how did they get Kate Blanchett on this? And then it was because she had just done like another project with that director, and I was like, that's just wild to get Kate Blanchett in this very specific bit voice role.
Honestly, kind of the dream. If I could have a career, just somebody being like, hey, can you hop on this? It only pays like, I don't know, 40,000 or however much it is. It's like, oh, great, sure.
She doesn't need the money.
I know.
She doesn't need, like, you. At that point, you kind of have to choose to do projects because no one can afford you. So you have to just do the projects of your friends.
So true.
Because no one can afford your real quote. It's like how everyone on a Wes Anderson movie, every actor makes scale. Every actor makes the lowest.
Oh yeah, I just read about that. Who said that they only make like Edward Norton like $12,000? Yeah.
Whatever like the legal minimum is for all of them while they're doing that. But like that's part of it. It's that's how we can get 1,000 famous people in the movie and like get the movie funded. Yes. And they all live out of a 5-star hotel for the length of shooting and have family dinner every night. You know what I mean? Sounds good. I'll take the $12,000 actually in exchange
and get
for
to
that.
do like the most one of a kind movie with all these sets and which is probably also where like all of his budget pretty much is going. So that's respectable. Yeah. So that's very cool of her. Yeah. I feel like she knows exactly who she is and what she does, and she comes off as like a very kind of secure person to me. I know
her attachment style is probably securely attached. I would have to agree.
Yeah. She
doesn't
just
give
seems like
give avoidant, doesn't give anxious, just gives securely attached woman.
What is her I thought I knew this. What is her zodiac? Do we know?
Oh my god, I need to look this up.
Let me guess real quick. Topic. I'm going to guess that she is I'm going to guess she's an earth sign, but like a part of me almost wants to say she's like a Scorpio and that it's like really surprising. I don't know. You let me know.
I think her persona is probably Scorpio because like she's always like the surprisingly like sexual creature or whatever, but even though she's like that's very Scorpio, you know. Okay, wait, I got it pulled up.
Yeah, and she's always a little bit like sassy.
She is. She's a Scorpio, Leo moon.
Whoa, okay.
And she's
Leo
a Cancer
moon.
rising.
Whoa.
The Cancer rising really makes sense. That like as an actor really makes sense. And to be a Cancer rising, and then the Leo moon makes sense, and then you nailed it with the Scorpio. That's funny.
Yeah, I might have seen that. I honestly might have seen that recently. So I'm not a mind reader or like or psychic, I should say. I think I saw that recently, and was like, oh my! I was very surprised for some reason. But wow, what a cool combination. Thanks for looking that up, Kat.
Yeah.
It was important.
It would have been so intrusive.
It had never come up. We're 4 episodes in, and it hadn't come up so far.
Okay,
we needed to address it at some point.
Surely someone has brought up astrology within the first 15 minutes of conversation, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure. We are two queer people, and yet somehow it took 4 episodes.
You know what? I'm Leo Sun, Cancer Moon. No
I'm
Scorpio
a Cancer
on my
Moon.
chart, but yeah. Hey.
And then I have a Scorpio Venus, which is how I flirt with people, because that just means that I'm really good in bed, because Venus is the sex one, and Scorpio is known for their like sexuality.
Yeah.
So it's my like only way of knowing how to hit on anyone is being like, well, I have a Scorpio Venus, and then with the right crowd, they're like, ooh,
yeah, they're
interesting.
They're like, what's your address?
Tell me
When are we
more.
leaving?
Amazing. Well, for the Scorpio known as Julia Roberts, this movie is the beginning of her comeback tour. Because she, after Pretty Woman, she takes off like a fucking rocket And she does like 3 movies the next year, but none of them really hit. None of them really do big business. And so she kind of has a weird 90s. She kind of floats in and out of things. It's not that she doesn't have like successful movies along there, like The Pelican Brief, but she does like not only a Woody Allen movie, but a weird Woody Allen movie. She does a movie where she plays Dr. Jekyll's girlfriend. She does a movie where she does an Irish accent. It's like things are not fully connecting.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I've seen any of these.
No, of course not. Because it's exactly what I'm talking about. She has a weird mid-90s, but then 97, My Best Friend's Wedding. The bag is back. The bag is secured. We're back down. This is where we're at. We're back in the zone. It takes her 7 years to make another true blue rom-com after Pretty Woman, which is wild to think about. But then a couple years later, we got Notting Hill here, and then 1 year later, she's going to win Sweet Oscar. She has Notting Hill and Runaway Bride in the same year. You know what? We're back.
Wait, Runaway... Whoa, I didn't know Runaway Bride was in the same year.
Same year. Huge 99 for Julia. She's back.
I guess I would have thought of Runaway Bride in the Pretty Woman universe simply just based on the poster alone. It's like the same sort of like staging. It feels like it would be in the same era.
Yeah.
The entire marketing campaign of that movie was like, we're going to do Pretty Woman again.
Right.
Gary Marshall directs once again.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts and Richard Gere back together. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. The pair, that thing of the directors with the pairings, you know, whether it's Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler or Helena Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp. And so that's crazy, though. I really thought Runaway Bride would have been like, I don't know, 95 or something. But okay, cool. Good for Julia. So this was kind of, in a way, a comeback for both her and Hugh Grant. I mean, albeit Hugh Grant, like, just kind of entering the scene a few years earlier and then I guess taking a break. But right. Okay.
Yeah, he also has a weird time, like, capitalizing on the phenomenal success of Four Weddings and a Funeral. You know, like, if you look at the movies that he's making, I guess the next year he makes Sense and Sensibility. All power to him. But then right after that, it's like Extreme Measures, Restoration. You know, like, he kind of takes, like you said, like 3 years off between, like, Sense and Sensibility and Notting Hill. He's just like, I don't know what's working. I'm going to wait for the right script. And I feel like Four Weddings is obviously like an incubated version of Hugh Grant. And I feel like he just went into a monastery somewhere and like developed the Hugh Grant persona. He was like, what works about me? I'm going to stutter. Like, well, you see, you know, like
blink a bunch.
Blink a bunch. But at very specific, if you look at, I'm not even kidding, the stories people tell about Hugh Grant, he has the blinks like written in the script. Like, he knows this is a scientific blinking process. He has this down to a science. He went to study in fucking that place where they taught Batman how to fight. You know, like, but they taught him how to be Hugh Grant in some mountain sanctuary somewhere.
Respect, you know, when you know what you got, kind of like Julia. Because also, I think I feel like Hugh Grant as a person is actually like very, very dry and cynical and like kind of what is his astrology?
I'll look it up.
These are exquisite questions.
I only misremember fragments of headlines about actors. That's generally things. And so I'm misremembering a fragment of a headline about something about how Hugh Grant today like resents the persona that they think he is because he's actually like not nice. And I was just like thinking about that, about like what it must be like to be so famous that you can just openly be like, I'm not a kind person. And people need to...
It's like, that was just a mask. Also, my guess is that he's a Capricorn. That's my guess. Only because he kind of reminds me of one of my exes. He's a Capricorn. But I could be wrong. So I'm excited.
Well, he was born on September 9th.
Damn.
Yeah,
okay,
he's a Virgo.
He's Virgo. Okay.
But he has a Taurus moon, which makes sense for being like a romantic male lead, to be grounding, an everyman. Mm-hmm. And Virgo
Yeah.
makes sense too, to be so like detail oriented and to be able to study your brand for 3 years in an incubator and come out with a persona. That's very Virgo behavior.
Yeah. Also knows what he's doing.
I am curious what his management was like during that time. Whenever there's stories like that about like, and then they miss the mark, I never think that it's the actor. Like my first thought is never like the actor's making bad decisions. It's like, who got to this person at the height of their success and was like, I'm gonna like carry you through. Because like you see it all the time with musicians, and it's a similar story of like the height of their record thing. And I think of actors the same way. Like, who was
definitely.
it? Who was pulling the strings and
Absolutely.
making the bad calls?
Hugh Grant, circa 1996, fire your agent, and he might very well have, because he did that thing that we were talking about earlier of like, we got to get the band back together. What worked? What do we need to like focus back in on? Because Hugh Grant in the monastery obviously figured out like, what works for me is the written word of Richard Curtis. Because, Notting Hill is directed by Roger Mitchell, who, no offense to Roger Mitchell, is not really a directorial career to envy. It's just kind of like, it's a bunch of random stuff. Nothing besides Notting Hill is anything you've ever been familiar with. But the writer, Richard Curtis, is the real auteur of the piece. Richard Curtis, of course, wrote Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Right.
And then he would before that he was writing Mr. Bean and Blackadder. He was the Rowan Atkinson architect before he was the Hugh Grant architect, because he comes back, he writes Notting Hill, he writes Bridget Jones's Diary, he writes Love Actually, and it's like, okay, this guy knows how to write some Hugh Grant. This guy gets it.
Yeah, I'm guessing because he's probably English. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so I feel like he just gets the, like, almost like the rhythm of, like, I don't know. It is really amazing, because I do feel like there was sort of like a British takeover in, like, for romantic comedies, and then kind of carried over to what American romantic comedies were trying to do of, certain types of characters or certain types of things happening. So yeah, it sounds like he really set the map for like romantic comedies of that time.
Kevin, you said Roman who?
Richard Curtis?
Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan.
Who famously Mr. Bean, famously in the movie Rat Race, in Notting Hill at the jewelry counter, or not Notting Hill, and Love Actually at the
right,
Love
right.
Actually, yeah. Okay,
Yes.
I thought you said Roman, and I was going to ask, how many times a week do you think about Rowan's empire?
How often am I thinking about the Roman Empire? As I said to you in a text message a few days ago, Kat, hardly ever at all. How often am I thinking about Rowan Atkinson's career? Quite frequently. That should be the next TikTok
Rowan
trend.
Atkins empire.
Is this because there's been that like thing going around?
Yeah.
That's like ask your boyfriend. Yeah,
Yeah.
my boyfriend sent me a couple of those too. I was
Did
like,
you get to ask first, or did he get to you first?
He got to me. I was like,
Oh, that sucks.
I don't know. I was like, well, after he sent it to me, I was like, is this true? And he said, and I was like, well, how much do you know? And he was like, I guess a bit. And I don't know. That's kind of just where we left off. But I feel like I guess it's like the version of that other meme or whatever saying that's like, just ask like your dad or grandfather about, like, for some reason they're just like obsessed with World War II, and like, you know what I mean? Maybe that's like our generation's
World War
version.
II.
Yeah.
Kevin's
that's very
girlfriend
funny.
got to him and got to ask first, so that was important.
Wait,
But-
seeing this or
important.
just organically? She was,
Seeing that
Seeing
in
that.
response to the popular TikTok trend.
Okay, got it.
Someone online said recently, and it really has stuck with me, that it feels like we're kind of increasingly talking about gender and sexuality as if they're Hogwarts houses. And it's really like, girls eat this way, boys like this. And I just feel like that's really what we've been. Barbie was definitely a movie produced in the gender Hogwarts house dynamic. Not to invoke J.K. Rowling, but it's kind of how it feels.
It's a weird time for me as a non-binary person to be like, so am I in the Victor Crumb French girl? Am I in the unnamed American one?
The overseas wizarding schools?
The mer people that live in the water but are always at Hogwarts. Like, where do I exist?
Yeah, I feel like, and as a bisexual man, it feels like bisexuals are being like pushed with a broom into like a little box where it's like, you sit like this, you like this kind of beverage, that otherwise you don't get to do this. So that's just people rigidly enforcing stereotypes on people.
So true. And as a cis straight woman, no, I'm just joking.
No one is more persecuted than I.
I will say, sometimes I'll see like I did watch like a whole YouTube video about like, why we're just aestheticizing like tomato girl dinner, girl this, and just like putting girl, and I'm like, yeah, why are we doing that? But then I will for dinner have like an apple and a few crackers, and I'll just be like, oh, you know what? but maybe, we don't have to label it. We don't have to label the fact that maybe I just like snacking. Okay.
Yes. It doesn't have to be a foundational part of your identity. Yeah. It can just be you enjoy a nice snack.
Yeah, I just have a light appetite, and it happens to be dinner time, and I happen to be a girl. Okay.
Look in boys' fridges. Just open any boy's fridge, and I feel like you'll see the same thing, if not something more.
So true.
Intimidatingly bare.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Yeah. It's like protein powder, Greek yogurt, some Gatorade. And then, like, for some reason, like, a giant week prep of, like, beef that they made.
Yeah, and then leftover, half of a leftover of, like, I don't know, Mediterranean food from a bodega.
Yeah.
3 days ago.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's so true.
I was gonna say, I think boy dinner is a cold pizza that has been stuck in the fridge in its original box that you slowly eat one piece from at a time over a period of several days.
Honestly,
non-binary dinner.
Yeah.
Because
let's hear it.
Is you have to have, and it's similar to bisexual beverage habits. You have to have 3 drinks at all times. So a smoothie, a coffee, a water, or something like that. And then you have to have like a comfort meal that you just don't even have to think about. You just do it over and over and over. So like smoothies or the same Trader Joe's frozen meal over and over. So you don't even have to think about it. Or you DoorDash if you have money that week.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I think I read something once where it was like ADHD people need to have like the 3 drink, like just different sets of stimulation. And then I looked at like my desk at work, and I'm constantly bussing my desk because I have like a kombucha, a seltzer, a coffee, a water. Yeah, just making it easy,
Absolutely.
This is what I'm glad we tackled this, because honestly, it needed to be said that maybe we're all just the same.
Maybe we're all just the same. We're all just girls standing in front of boys, asking them to love them. You know what I mean? Like
girl dinners, standing in front of boy dinners, asking to compare the two,
asking for 3 beverages.
Oh wow, exquisite! And what a perfect film to frame this all around of Notting Hill, which is just like this is not a show where we get deep into the plot on any particular film, but just like I just think this is a really well constructed romantic comedy. I mean, like it's hitting all the beats, but those notes, there's a reason that we use those 4 chords over and over again. They sound really good.
Can I say after watching it last night, after rewatching it last night, and having forgotten like big things where I was like, wait, what? And I feel like I've seen this movie many times, but I guess I haven't watched it in a while. But I watched it with my boyfriend because he hadn't seen it. And he said he loved it, but I did not expect him to say, I said it, so what'd you think? And he goes, I loved it. And I was like, you loved it? Wow, that's amazing. So that was really cool. But it is kind of amazing in the sense that sort of huge things happen and also nothing happens. She's just a movie star who keeps showing up and he keeps letting her. And then she kind of goes away until eventually she's like, actually, I would like to stay. And he's like, okay. And that's kind of it, you know? And it's feel good. It's vibes. I between the outfits of both of them, I could not tell whose I wanted to wear more. I wanted to like wear both. Julia Roberts in the suit. That's
the suit.
Julia Roberts
in the
suit is
huge
moment.
Iconic. That's unbelievable.
Huge. Yeah.
There's
huge.
good outfits, some cute moments, and that's all you need to know, really.
It's kind of subverting the fan girl to like rock star trope, and that's kind of a fun reversal to have it be normie guy and famous woman.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it works so well.
I agree.
It's like it's not like an obsessive guy either, because that would be scary and not fun. It has to be like a really normcore guy who's just bumbling around. So it had to really hit that sweet spot, and it did.
Who doesn't even like recognize her at first, you know what I mean? Like is not like, oh, of course I know who this is. Like maybe doesn't pick up on it. This is something that occurred to me this watch, that this is one of the few romantic comedies that is playing off of like a male fantasy as opposed to a female fantasy. Like, I am a regular man and a beautiful movie star wants to kiss me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it fundamentally that is like the man is the one whose shoes we are in this film. But I think the way it works, how it can still connect with that core cis female demo that rom-coms are targeted at, is that like they still give Anna Scott enough like juice that you can still relate to her. Like, don't we all, underneath all the constructions that we have to put up to exist in life? I can't even testify to like what a woman has to put up to exist in our society. But like, don't we all just want someone to see through all of that and love us for who we are at our core, as just a girl standing in front of a boy?
Yeah, and same with her. It's kind of like, I don't know, that is really interesting. He is very, very respectful, which is great. Again, she just kind of is like, hey, and then he's like, great, you're in town. And she's like, can we hang? And he's like, whatever you want. And then she's like, I gotta go. And he's like, okay. And that's that, which is kind of nice. But I am glad that, like, I don't know, just where it goes, the fact that, like, he at one point does kind of stick up for himself and is like, I think I'm going to get hurt again. And then, you know, we do have a moment where it's like, okay, well, it can't be like this all the time. But then that's her sort of like, she has really, really come down to earth. And it just so happens that probably at the time where she's really reconciled with herself is when he like says no. And then, you know, the ending. But I will say, sorry, I'm rambling, but I will say, to Kat's point, I did notice at the end that he is wearing a pink shirt and she is wearing a blue dress suit, which I thought was really interesting in that sort of role reversal-y way. Because I do feel like she has, like, she is the more quote-unquote masculine, like, you know what I mean? She, in that rock star-y kind of way, that she kind of has that power that we would maybe normally see, like, a male lead have. Yeah.
Right. She's the one who's like, this is how it is, Buster. You know what I mean? Like, this is the skinny of it. This is how it goes.
I thought of absolutely, I'm about to ruin everything with what I'm about to say.
I don't think so.
Let's fucking go.
Okay. So, unfortunately, guys, Notting Hill 2 in the 2020s would be, I'm so sorry, Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
She just come in like, hey, And
I'm so sorry, but that is what happened in a way, or that's how it was marketed.
Right,
and Pete Davidson is the bumbling, but it's more of a fuck boy. It's different, but it's still like stoner, scruffy, long dude gets Kardashian, and she's the powerhouse, and all she has to do is send her PR team to be like, grab Pete for me. They go to Staten Island together. I mean,
oh my god. No, that's
grab Pete for me. Sorry.
Following you talking, it was really, I was trying to think of where it was going, and then where it ended up being was incredible and honestly so spot on. Because like Pete Davidson he's harmless, you know, and I feel like so is William Thacker.
He's kind of sad. You
but
want to
he's
take
dumb.
care of him.
Like he's harmless, but he could make a really dumb call at any moment.
Absolutely.
And you feel like it will happen. But he's less the British and the softness and the respectful is not the Pete Davidson. So it's a different stroke. But the same vibe.
Same vibe, yeah, just updated to this generation. I totally see it. Which also, well, Kevin, because I know you said that like in the bookstore he doesn't maybe recognize her, but I actually thought that he did, but he was the only one who like played it cool among others.
Yeah,
that was my interpretation.
That's how I watched it.
Yeah. And he never. Oh yeah, because I think she leaves and he's like. Oh, yeah, because he says to the guy who comes with the cappuccino, he's like, you'll never believe who was just in here.
You're totally right.
But then he's like, never mind. Actually, I'm not going to make a big deal about it. So in a way that I feel like highlights from the very get-go that of all the people who have like freaked out over her or just totally like, I don't know, like that friend who started talking about his stockbroking job and then he asked what she does and then he just made all these like assumptions about her as an actress. It's like William Thacker really fell right in the middle where he was just like, I'm just gonna play it cool and treat her like a person, but also be a little starstruck. I have a question. Why do you guys think she first kissed him in that when they're in his place and they're saying bye?
Because she doesn't usually get, I'm sure she's used to men who are so like forward because she is who she is that they have to have like a level of ego beyond hers to, and so she's probably used to men being like the sushi men, right? That's that movie.
Yeah, no,
or
she's
like
used to the sushi men.
Yeah, like she's probably used to like that, or like directors who are intimidated by her power, and she's not mean because you could play this part could be a bitch and it would still kind of work, but she's not. She's markedly not, and so I don't think she gets walked all over, but like. This is her rare chance to be like, he's not going to make that move. So, like, I get to.
Oh, that's a great... Yeah, you're so right. That makes so much sense. Yeah, and we see so many times over the movie where she is just, like, I don't know, caught in these stories about her or assumptions about her, you know... Which is why I think that like brownie moment. I'm glad that they didn't give her the brownie, I will say. But I do think that her story was like, you know, I don't know, that part where she says like at some point they are going to notice that I am not that good of an actress and that I'm just like a pretty person and I'm just a normal person and I'm just someone who once looked like a famous actress once upon a time is like so, I don't know, so beautiful when everybody's putting all their stories on her and like fantasies on her all the time.
Yeah. And it's an important moment for Will, who like gets to see her as like a person, as
she's like a three-dimensional, not just like a
exactly
manic pixie.
Yes, of
Hollywood
course. Who's
star.
like wearing like the when she changes clothes and she's got like the midriff, kind of look. Another iconic look from
many.
Julia in this
Many.
film. But I really like that scene. I like this group of friends, and I like this group of friends who are just kind of having a hard time. Don't you and your friend group sometimes you're all having a hard time, a hard year, and you just spend your time commiserating, and you even have like you made a fun little game out of sharing like sad stories. And I think that's really charming. I really like this crew. I like the just like small amount of history between like Will and the woman who's in the wheelchair whose name escapes me. Like just all these little weird wrinkles and details and the way they all come together at the end. I think it's really lovely. I love it.
Yeah, it's true. They really like worked in this sort of like almost like B plot of misfit friends going through a hard time really well. I guess because he kind of sets it up in the beginning with that like one voiceover we hear. And
yes.
Yeah, because he brings up the friend who opens a restaurant, and then you see them eating in the restaurant like once, but you don't, and you sort of notice that there's not many people. But I just thought like, oh, they're there, it's late, it's closing time. And then the next time you see that guy again, they're like lamenting the closing of the restaurant, having that like one last dinner. And I'm like, oh, right, that guy who was brought up in the very beginning. So they really peppered
did
it
that.
in.
They do that well with Fleabag. That reminds me of like Fleabag, like kind of setting the space before you tell the stories. And you're just like, oh, this is kind of weird. And then they do it later. So I wonder if this was on Phoebe Waller-Bridge's mood board for this.
I would love to know what
sense.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge's mood board is, if she has one.
I just want to. What's up there? Also, Phoebe, what are you working on? I'm glad you're successful. But like, what are you? She's just been stranded in these like Star Wars and Indiana Jones movies, and I'm like, listen, do whatever you want, make the money while the money's there. But like, what are you doing? Go make something.
I know. She's punching up scripts. She's taking like a consulting role, I feel like, for now, and then, but hopefully, I don't know, maybe she's letting something cook, and then one day we'll just get something like so brilliant again. I'm sure
she's taking her Hugh Grant in the monastery period. Like, what do I need to do? What is the future for Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
Yes.
And we need to. You know what? Take your time. It's whatever. I'll wait. It's fine. But yes, and there's the great through line with Honey, the friend who just can't find love, that like I think is really charming, and it carries us through. She is the second anchor of that fucking Ain't No Sunshine 1 year.
We gotta
path.
talk
Like,
about that sequence.
Every time I've only seen this movie 2 times. The first time, famously, I watched half of it, went to a 5-hour wrestling show, and then watched the second half of it when I got home. But every time that sequence happens, I want to like jump up out of my chair. I want to like go like, yes, look at what's happening. Like, it's not that the contemporary rom-com is dead because we don't make them. Like, you can go on Netflix and they're putting out rom-coms probably at least one a month.
Oh, yeah.
But the rom-com is dead because there's no one making rom-coms who wants to or would even think of doing something like the Ain't No Sunshine dolly shot where a year passes in one shot. I mean, fucking believable. It's so good.
I think now that I think about it, I don't know if this movie would have been what it was. I don't know, maybe this is like a sliding doors moment, using another romantic comedy to reference this, but like, what would this movie have looked like as far as like criticism, as far as I feel like people would have been like, it was fine, it was nice, but I think that really solidifies that like they weren't just thinking about the story and the genre. Like, somebody was like, we need to have a filmmaking moment, Yes. And so there are other great, like, I mean, that's one of them, but I also love when she leaves and you see all the paparazzi and then the door closes and the camera. I was like, and that's what I think Netflix is not doing. They're not thinking about like, let's also have like some incredible cinematography and filmmaking and storytelling through the camera, not just through the actual written story, you know? And it's so...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I watched that with my boyfriend, that sequence, he was like, I'm noticing he's walking through the rain, but the rain isn't falling on his head. He notices things like that because he does photography. So sometimes we'll be watching something and he'll be like, oh, there was a weird masking around that person's head. And I'm like, what? And then we'll go back and I'll notice it. But he noticed that, I guess, when Hugh Grant was walking, the rain was sort of falling, but he wasn't really getting wet. But I knew that it was for a reason, which is that the seasons are changing. And this is basically a music video at this point. So,
yes.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. It's remarkable. There's another shot that I really liked. It's after the dinner scene where they like break into that park, and she's on the bench and she says, "Come sit with me," and then like I guess it's a full ass crane shot just like completely overhead, and it rises up. It's just really nice. There's nice cinematography. They figure out a way to like stage dialogue scenes that's interesting when they're practicing the script on the roof. You know, would have been easy to throw that fucking in a bedroom somewhere. And there's plenty of lovely scenes in this movie that take place in a bedroom. But, man, it's just like, just breaking up the monotony of it a little bit, especially because, like, you're stuck in the house literally at that point. She's in hiding from a scandal, a celebrity scandal. She's in hiding from Alec Baldwin also as well, I'm sure.
Oh, right, Alec
Aren't we
Baldwin.
all in hiding from Alec Baldwin jump scare in this movie? I forgot, and then he was, Jesus.
It was ahead of its time in that way. It was preparing us to be like, you will fear this man
for the rest of
his
career.
For the rest of your life.
That's so true. There was a moment where I was like Alec Baldwin, and then I was like, wait, which Baldwin brother is that? Because he has like that scruff, so I almost couldn't tell. And then I was like, oh no, that's Alec. But yeah, you're right. There is that crane shot is so they just threw it in because they wanted to. And he starts to kind of walk away from the bench, and you are kind of like, what's he doing? And then she's like, come sit with me. And it really does tell a lot by telling so little, which is that, again, he's being respectful, he's being shy, he's like, I'm not gonna assume that she wants me to sit next to her just because she sat down, but she does. And it's really cute. And that park looks amazing. Looks huge.
I am thinking about my favorite, like, kind of trope thing, whatever. So my least favorite version of it is there's two people, and it's the mistress and the guy, and they're cheating in the bedroom, and then the wife's coming home, and the mistress has to hide in the closet but do an elaborate lie or whatever. Like, those, hate them. Then every once in a while something will be just the best of its kind, and there'll be nothing like it. And for me, the sexiest thing is the horse magazine bit.
Horse and Hound.
Horse and Hound. I fucking love it. I eat that shit up. It is so good. When a bit is successfully executed, when you get away with deceiving someone through code and through a bit, and you're so anxious that they're gonna be caught, and then they do it successfully and it's witty. Mwah. That's chef's kiss.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that is a really great moment. And like, to your point, you think, oh, how funny, how cute, haha. He got somehow thrown into this, and now he has to do this with her, and then he leaves, and then they're like, wait, no. It is kind of like an improv like game where it's like, wait a second, let's see this character have to pretend to be a reporter from Horse and Hound doing a press junket about a big blockbuster movie in space with other actors. And we see a young Misha Barton.
Baby Misha
Barton.
Oh my god!
But that was that
OC
was so
heads popping off,
and then to like call it back at the end.
Yeah, like, then to bring him back. Yeah. It's true.
Who is it? Who's the sexy one in Ted Lasso? It's that character.
There's so many.
The Trent something.
Trent Krim, the Independent.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of same universe.
I'm so glad you said the sexy character.
Yeah, I was like,
because I agree because I'm on that same page.
When you said the sexy character, I did not think Trent Crimm, but when I see Trent Crimm on Ted Lasso, I think he's like he's like, yeah, exactly the type of person I was attracted to for many years. So I agree.
Independent journalists.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ending where they bring it back is lovely, and it's very Roman Holiday.
Yes, that's right.
Together at the end.
That's right. Yeah. We watched Roman Holiday like close to. I remember that when we were watching this, and we watched Roman Holiday like close
right around
to
there.
it.
Yeah,
and
another
we were like,
slam dunk.
It's the same,
Julia's not
it's
in
the
it,
same
sadly,
moment.
but.
In Roman Holiday, yeah.
She would, honestly, I feel like if remakes were as big of a thing as they were in her time, as they are now in her time, I feel like she totally could have been in, like, Roman Holiday or something. I know she's not as, like, sprightly, but she would have been a good, like, modern, she would have given that Julia strength to it a bit. But remind me, what happens in Roman Holiday that is similar to that scene? Because I haven't seen it in a long time.
And how often do you think of the Roman Holiday?
The movie?
I think about Roman Holiday way more than the Roman Empire, to be quite honest with you.
the Rowan Holiday.
The Rowan Holiday.
I do not, unless I always get, I'm always getting those like vintage clip sent my way through reels or something, or her outfit or her haircut, or that shot of them on the scooter and stuff on the Vespa. But otherwise I don't really remember. She's like a princess, and then
he's a reporter.
He's a reporter, and then she ends up staying with him.
Okay,
kind of,
so
right?
basically Notting Hill is Roman Holiday, is it? Is it like the same?
No, it's not that simple. The ending makes me think of it because it's a press conference at the end of Roman Holiday. She is giving her address, and he comes up and asks her a question, but it's like it's a benign question. You know what I mean? It's like it's everything that's left unsaid that he is asking in the question, but she has to return to her regal life. She can't run off with Gregory Peck, newspaper reporter.
The plot is kind of the same then, though, because
similar bones.
She's hanging out in his apartment for a while. Yeah,
and she's the modern princess, is a movie star.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you kind of would think, I will say, and this is spoilers, but I feel like if you're listening to this podcast episode, you probably have seen Notting Hill. But
you've also had a lot of time to catch up with it. You know what I mean? It's been out for a minute.
98,
This isn't a podcast where you guys get together and talk weekly about whatever, and then it's like, oh, spoiler, Notting Hill. This is a movie. This is an episode about Notting Hill. So I will say the fact that I did think there was going to be this bigger, like, almost like, when they go through the sequence of him actually being with her, I did wonder if there was going to be like a sort of second climax, if you will, or whatever, where he is like, oh, no, I can't do this. I was thinking of her as just a fantasy. I didn't know what her life was like. And now that I'm in it, I don't know if I can do this. But they just do it. They live life together, and that's how it ends. And I will say
she's staying indefinitely.
Yeah, she's staying indefinitely, which is so sweet. And like literally, I was watching it, going, "They get married?" Like I didn't even remember. And then the ending shot, it's so great. So in a way, it does almost feel like, maybe modern Roman Holiday, but what if she had gotten with him? So it's pretty cool. But I don't know. That might have just been purely an accident, which it
could have been. But I don't know. Richard Curtis he's a big old softy. You know what I mean? It would not surprise me if intentionally or unintentionally he was just like, "What if we did Roman Holiday?" I think about that all the time. I'm like, what if I got to make Roman Holiday? You know? What I mean?
True.
What would you do, Kevin?
Nothing different. I would do it exactly the same. It would be pointless. Pointless.
London Holiday. Yeah, you just put, it's kind of like
New York Holiday.
Yeah, it's like
I would
It's like
do
Paris,
Pete
I Love
Davidson
You.
and Kim Kardashian.
You know, if they came to me,
Same script.
If those two, same script, like the exact script of Roman
Exact
Holiday,
same script. Pete Davidson, Kim Kardashian.
Well, wait.
I would make it. I would, like, if they came to me, I'm like, the check is going to clear, you say? Let's go. I think this will be a bizarre, interesting piece of art.
Well, and I know this isn't related at all to Notting Hill, but just on the Pete Davidson, Kim Kardashian note, can we talk about how...
SpongeBob? Never mind. I thought you were going somewhere else.
That is somewhat similar, I would say. But no, I was going to say that when I found out Timothée Chalamet and Kylie were rumored to be together, I was like, did the Kardashian PR team just go, you know what worked? When we just got like a guy who makes a ton of like very sort of heteronormative guys very angry because a lot of women are into him and they don't understand it. Get with like one of the most beautiful, most powerful women, or from that family. I just feel like they were like, let's take that formula. And I want to believe that Timothée Chalamet chooses love for love. So, you know, I do think they are kind of dating. But there's a part of me that's like, they just really applied the Pete Kim formula to, and I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that. I don't really have a point, I guess.
I think
aside from the one
we recently roasted Timothée Chalamet's lack of whimsy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
in
Oh,
Wonka.
we did. On this very podcast, we went after his lack of whimsy. A whimsyless chap.
Yeah.
Even though he looks so whimsical, like on appearance, I could see how like a really like watered down, shallow version of something would be like, just looking at Timothy's appearance. Mm-hmm. It's very different than how he seems, except for in Little Women. That is the closest it gets to being in Hugh Grant land.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I guess you could like watch Little Women and be like, yeah, he's that kind of guy, and then just sort of project it onto him because he looks that way.
Many people have, from all the angry
Bones and
TikToks I've
All-
seen. Yeah.
Bones and All was also pretty good. He played a really good twink.
He plays a really good edgy
bisexual
twink. Yeah, like, or there's a short film he does where he's
A
like
dangerous twink.
Yeah.
Who eats people. Well, he eats people in that
He does
movie,
eat
which is
people.
not a spoiler.
Right.
That's not
Bones and
usually,
All.
that's not standard twink behavior. We don't want to start any stereotypes.
No, he's
Twinks don't
kind
eat people.
of good at
Usually.
I think because he had that sort of like rap persona too, he's almost good at playing like sort of this like wholesome street rat character, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Much more of an Oliver
so-
than a Wonka. Yeah, 100%.
Wait,
a
say that
real
again, Kevin?
newsy. I like to think of Timothée Chalamet. He's much more of an
Yeah.
Oliver than a Wonka, or a newsy than a
Yeah,
Wonka.
or maybe
He's
even
a newsy for sure.
or maybe even a in Oliver. Oh my God, the
Artful Dodger.
Dodger. I could see him as a bit of a Dodger. You know, he's a little
Totally.
conniving, but he's got a twinkle in his eye, and you love him.
If you put Chalamet next to like Jacob Tremblay or even like Tom Holland, who is perpetually like a 12-year-old innocent, you know what I mean? Like he looks dangerous next to those two. You could get away with it.
Yeah, honestly, I almost feel like Tom Holland would have maybe been a better Wonka than Timothée Chalamet.
He would have.
Also,
He
Without
would
a
have
doubt.
slapped.
Without a fucking doubt.
You
He
know?
would have been amazing. That kid can
100%.
dance.
And
That
I
kid
really-
is a grown man,
and I really
but
love
he seems like a kid.
Totally. And I really love Timothée Chalamet because also me and my friend have also been slightly roasting the Wonka movie. And I will say that this is all related to Notting Hill because of the Hugh Grant factor, in case anybody thinks we've gone too off the rails. But so I'm going to tie it back. But yeah, I keep telling my friend I'm holding out hope. I want to believe that there's going to be something good about this movie, but I did send him, I think it was an IndieWire thing that was like the director said that Timothée Chalamet's voice is like comparative to Bing Crosby, which was just...
No, it fucking Admittedly, I've never heard him sing. Admittedly, I don't think
Okay,
I've heard.
I have. You can go on YouTube and you can watch him in the LaGuardia like musicals. He did Sweet Charity, and he's not bad. That's the thing. But I wouldn't call him Bing Crosby, the like father of like crooning and Christmas, you know. So I just thought that was really
like this. Yeah, it's
yeah. So I was just like, okay, that's a bit of a reach. I don't think he's I think he'll do well. But I think you're right. There's just something not, I don't know. I'm holding out hope though. And yeah, and Hugh Grant is an Oompa Loompa, and I hope they sort of Sonic that shit and like change it or edit it out or something. I really
I forgot
hope
that
they do.
Hugh Grant was an Oompa Loompa. I forgot.
just being Hugh Grant. Well, it's a very small moment in the trailer, but there he is. There he is.
Cat, we might have to go watch Wonka and report back.
Yeah, we do, because Wonka, Tim Burton's Willy Wonka was like a huge hyperfixation for my sibling, who is having a really successful year of film stuff. And a big part of their journey was, I think it was 2005. They saw Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I want to say, over 8 times in theaters.
Oh my
because my mom is an enabler. And like, they knew when it was coming out on DVD. They had all the merch before. They dressed as Willy Wonka for Halloween. So I do think like I have to see this.
Yes.
But I wasn't really planning on it, but now there's enough for, also like now I'm remembering that I really like Timothée Chalamet as an actor.
Yeah.
And he's just one of those people that like, just you realize that actors aren't who they're playing when they start speaking, and you're like, oh man, like I actually don't want to be in a room with you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like I love gay.
Call Me by Your name.
Call Me by Your Name.
That movie, Gay. What was that movie he was in? Gay.
Gay
What's
Italy.
It's like gay. Yeah. What's that one gay film? You know the one gay film?
The only one.
The only one?
No,
that's
yeah,
matters.
That's
he's
the
incredible
cannibal
in Call Me
background.
by Your Name. He's incredible in Little Women, as discussed
I know.
previously.
He's just one of those people where, like, even if he's miscast, you're like, I can't hate the guy. I just can't. But he continues to surprise me. Like, I just really want to, like give him a hug and give him noogies and, like, be his friend. And that's who I kind of thought he was. And now he's, like, dating Kylie Jenner, which kind of makes me wonder, who is Kylie Jenner? It's just all a giant mystery to me, you know, which, you know, to tie it back to Julia Roberts as a Hollywood actress who is deeply misunderstood, you know, it just happens, which is, I really try not to get too into the, like, rabbit hole of dating, because I really do feel like we'll, like, never know people's lives, and PR is a thing, and it's really just like, I don't know, that's just how I feel about all that, and not that anyone asked, you know, but
No, we're sharing. This
I'm
is
going
fine.
A to
You're
Z.
sharing your thoughts.
Yeah.
This is a real A to Z podcast.
Yeah.
Because we're covering all of Julia's films, A to Z.
So true. That's so true.
From Ant Bully to
Wait, she was an ant bully?
Smurfs.
to Wonder. Nothing starts with Z in her filmography. She is in the Ant Bully.
Wait, I have to remember even what ant bully was. I remember the title.
If I recall correctly, it is about a kid who, you know, is a real magnifying glass on the anthill kind of kid.
Yeah.
But then gets shrunk down to the size of an ant and must join ant society and learn that ants are pretty cool, actually.
I'm really impressed with this, that you put any thought instead of being like, it's about ants. You really, like, gave me much more than
I'm trying my best here. Yeah. I think that's what the Ant Bully is about. A film we will have to fucking watch one day.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the title. A Wii game was made of it. There's a Google. People also ask, why did the ant bully fail?
How could it?
It says features
With a
of
premise like that?
features of overused too many cliches, such as main character gets bullied for being different. Oh, we can't have that cliche.
Not in a kids movie.
Can.
No, we gotta have nuance. We gotta have nuance in this kind of
Plays
stuff.
the character of Hova. Now, does Julia play an ant? As
question.
Hova, a nurse ant and a mentor to Lucas Nickel. Wow.
When you said a Wii game, I was still in like British Hugh Grant.
A
lands,
wee
and
little
so I was thinking
game.
like a wee little game, like a little,
game.
like a
Not
little
a game for the Nintendo.
boy. Yeah.
I just want
All right.
I just want to say, when I looked up this movie, I was like, why do I have a feeling came out the same year as B Movie? It just has a vibe about it. But while they were not the
Totally.
same year, they were 1 year apart. 2006
Wow.
and 2007.
Are they the same like studio too? Like same.
Okay, well, B Movie was Paramount. Let's see. Yeah, you could be right. Maybe it was a whole
Z.
it was a whole campaign. Ant Bully
The Ant
was-
Bully, Legendary
Warner
Pictures,
Brothers.
distributed by Warner. Yes.
Wow.
Okay,
The
so
battle
a
for the
competition.
lawn is on, says the poster of Ant Bully.
Are they both? Are bees and ants both? The three like snowmen but bugs. The three thorax, not anthrax. There's three of them. Are they
Thorax,
both in the same-
abdomen.
Are they those? Are these? Are bees? Are ants bees? Snowmen?
Yes.
This
Ants
is what my
be-
Google
yeah.
would be like.
Oh, is
Are
that?
ants,
Oh,
bees,
like
snowmen,
their
the
bodies,
answer is-
because they have like when you draw them, it's like a ball on a ball.
They call it something. Are there three? Are
Okay.
bees also three, or are they two? Or are ants and bees both the three one?
I think bees are two. No, actually, I really have no idea. Somebody tweet
Somebody
out this
write
podcast.
in if you know about Bug. If you know about Bug, you write in. I'm watching just some gameplay footage of the Ant Bully Wii game, and it's pretty spectacular.
We've Googled so many things, but we cannot possibly Google this. So please let us know. It's just
there's
too
no way.
complicated.
I can't Google ant biology. I'm watching the Ant Bully playthrough on YouTube.com.
The lawn is on.
The lawn, the battle for the lawn is on.
I'm gonna pitch my drag performance that
Oh
has
my
been
gosh.
a burning like desire of mine, like a compulsion, really. So, but I there's some significant financial investment or help that I would need to make it. Anyway, so I was listening to some music on a long road trip, and the Black Eyed Peas song "I'm a Bee" was playing. And I was suddenly struck with genius, where I realized the whole drag routine in one quick flash moment. I was like, I know what's going to happen. We're going to open with the opening monologue of the Bee Movie in darkness. And then the song I'm a Bee is going to start playing. And I'm going to come on in a really, really fluffy bee costume. And then there's a bridge where the beat drops, and that's when the strip tease starts.
Yes.
And then I'm just like a really slutty bee
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
song I'm a Bee. And there's no nuance to it. That's it. But I can't stop thinking about it, and it's going to happen.
This absolutely
So.
needs to happen. This absolutely needs to happen.
100%. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the cast of the Ant Bully, and this is unhinged. This is that
Name
era
drop.
of studio animated films where they were just, they were putting
They were
anybody
grasping
in
at
these.
straws, yeah.
They were just, let's get some famos in here. Post-Shrek landscape
Oh,
of
boy.
every famous person who will answer the phone. Julia Roberts, Nicolas Cage, Meryl Streep, Paul Giamatti, Regina King, Bruce Campbell, Lily Tomlin, Sherry O'Terry, Larry Miller, Allison Mack from Smallville, the one who owned the cult.
Oh, Navixum.
Yeah, it's wild out here in Ant Bully Town.
Again, if
I don't know.
you want to come in for a day's work and make $40,000, they're like, sure.
Sure.
Thanks.
Am I
Plus-
voicing an ant or whatever?
Plus, like, the residuals of, like, whatever merch they make.
yeah.
I'm sure there's, like, a really nice cut to being like, we use your voice in the video game and the Wee Little game and the
game.
and the dolls
And
the
you
action
get that
figures.
really sick moment where in the trailer we stack all of the names on top of each other and over to the hottest kid-friendly pop song of the year.
Oh,
And you'll get
100%.
that.
Oh, I'm hoping that there are promotional images for the Ant Bully where the actors are standing side by side with their characters. You know, remember when they did that?
You mean like in real life?
Like, they would post an image of, like, Bruce Willis, you know, standing with his arms crossed, and then his character from Over the Hedge would be, like, on his shoulder.
Oh, that's so right. Yeah.
If such a thing... Oh, boy. If such a thing happened... Google does not have a good record of it, but I am looking at a still from the Ant Bully trailer where there's an ant and he has
That
like a
sounds right.
2006 rap grill in his mouth, and he's got a backwards hat.
Who plays him?
It's a
because
kid.
Who plays him?
I don't know. I guess I'll watch the trailer and see if I can identify.
I'm just
If it's a
wondering.
I don't know who
Kids
plays the rapping
movie.
ant.
You know there's going to be a rap. If it's a kid's movie and it's past the year, like, 82, like, you know
Yeah.
there's going to be an educational
the trailer,
rap in it.
The trailer is one of those trailers where the characters from the Ant Bully are auditioning for the Ant Bully. Not the actors. The characters from the Ant Bully are auditioning for their own roles.
Oh, they're doing like
love that.
a screen test. It's like fake
This is a
bloopers.
Harry Potter ant. A Harry Potter ant is talking right now.
What?
I'm really, actually, I love that
Yeah,
frame.
this has really it's really digging up a lot.
We should kind of, like, reassemble, like, in opposition to, like, Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of, like, taking over the Comic-Con of it all. We should start assembling these kids' movies of, like, Shark Tale and Ant Bully and, like, this era of things and bring all of the actors back for panels to talk about.
They probably don't even remember that they did it.
Not a chance in
That's
the world.
the fun part.
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
take it really seriously and see what they say.
Okay, I love this.
I could not identify the voices of the rapping ants from this video uploaded in 2011 by 8 Audrey Rose. But there is one comment on the video, and it's one of those time code comments, and it says 042 heaven, and 042 is when the ants start rapping. This child commenting on this video 9 years ago loves the rapping ants from the Ant Bully trailer.
Oh my gosh.
I think we need to find this commenter now and be like, what do you think now?
Interview them
today?
now. What do you think about the rapping ants now?
I really
Kevin, I think we need to do investigative journalism before our Ant Bully episode. I think we go
I think it's the only
really
way to
deep
make that
into
fucking
ant
episode
porn.
interesting. I think it's the only way that that's a good episode to listen to is if we do, like, the deepest journalistic dive. Of the
Yeah,
Ant
I think
Bully
we do the
possible.
Judd Apatow thing and we just, like, bring a recorder and we act like we're, like, school kids and we're like, we need to interview you. And we just go, we find whoever we can. We hound the PR teams and we get all of the background on Ant Bully.
Yeah,
For
I
no
think it's the
money.
only way.
expose.
Expose. It's time. Truth in journalism. Amazing. So I think any concluding thoughts on Notting Hill? Anything else left to say?
Favorite feature of Julia Roberts, go, of which there are so many.
Well, now I feel lame saying smile because it's like
Smile.
the
I was
first.
gonna say
that's
the same
so
thing.
her. It's so her.
It's the
And her hair.
The hair is amazing. In his Letterboxd review of this film, critic Matt Singer wrote that every movie star has a signature move. And Julia's is called the Cryal.
Yes.
Where she is crying, but will not stop smiling. Like, she is smiling through tears, and she does it 100 times in this movie.
Everyone, let's try doing it right now. Oh, sorry, this is not a visual medium. Everyone looks silly. who's listening right now. Everyone looks silly, but they're trying their best.
They're trying. And that's why we're not Julia. That's why none of the three of us can do what she does. Is because we look stupid and she looks like a movie star.
What's my thing? Kevin? Kevin, what's my thing?
Your thing is that no matter what you are referencing, you will call it a queer little. You will be like, you should download this app. It's a queer little app for logging what books you read. That's your signature move.
I like that.
So I didn't know that I added a little in there. Like, that's so interesting. Wow, yeah. I need to really analyze that and be like, why do I need to make queer things smaller? Why can't they have as much power? Yeah.
Yeah.
When I went to acting school, I noticed that there was something I did a lot, but I don't remember what it is now. But I had one of those sort of like I don't know, just like a go-to thing, I guess, but like subconsciously. But I thought you, Kevin, were going to say her laugh, how she has that laugh that's like, I don't even think I can do it, but it's like, ha! You know, like it's like a big, and then she's kind of like, like she has like a deep, or she'll go, woo! Like something will make her, in the whoopsie daisy part, when he says whoopsie daisy, she's like, she really has like a very genuine like belly laughter, which I think is really good.
Yeah. Being able to like fake that is, any actor will tell you that can be really tough to like make
tough.
Laughter seem genuine.
Yeah.
And she's got it. You're absolutely right. You're
that smile
right.
and the laugh. And also I just need to point out when she's talking about breasts, the way she says breasts. What is it about women's breasts? Like, I can't even do it. Breasts. She gets both S's on there somehow. Breasts.
Yeah. Reminds me of Christina Applegate does the same thing in Anchorman. And it's always stuck with me. Just because I have breasts, exquisite breasts. Just always,
you know, some director or the writer was like, you're just kind of saying breasts, and you got to enunciate it a little bit. Breasts. Yeah, I feel like that would be a Jennifer Aniston thing too. I feel like she would also say it. She'd be like, breasts? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
That was a good Jennifer
Aniston. Thanks. Yeah.
Any other final thoughts?
I have the kind of brain where if I don't say these two things that are connections I noticed, my brain will explode.
Wrap us up, Kevin.
Yeah, you're so welcome. One is that the guy who's trying to steal a book from the travel bookshop is Dylan Moran.
Correct.
Who would go on to play a famous bookseller on the sitcom Black Books.
Correct.
I had to say that.
Yes.
And the second thing is, at one point, Hugh Grant, in the breasts conversation, says, well, it's not all women. Meatloaf, for instance, is an exquisite pair. And in 1999, the year this film come out, the same year come out the movie Fight Club, where Meatloaf notoriously has an inflated pair of breasts.
Wow.
And again, that's not a cutting cinematic insight. That's not a thematic dive into the film.
No, that's
but if I did
it's
not
like
say
Notting
those two
Hill
things,
predicted. You know, Notting Hill predicted.
Notting Hill. It was prescient because they couldn't have known. They couldn't have known, but they knew.
That's amazing.
So that's what I got. Kat, any final thoughts?
I guess like this is a good. I mean, I'm just thinking about all the celebrities that I've had crushes on and had this fantasy about, and even though they do end up together in the end, it's so like the way it's constructed. You just like know that that's probably not like it's relatable enough that it's cathartic, but then you're brought down to earth that you're like, I shouldn't try to pursue this myself. Like, I shouldn't try to like slide into the DMs and like make this happen or like have this happen. I just know as a production assistant, Flex, I was on set with many celebrities, and my job was to not have the Notting Hill fantasy while I was there and strictly do the first Hugh Grant of it all and just be like, I'm gonna pretend I don't know who you are, or just like treat you like a person.
Totally.
And so this is a very cathartic movie for anyone who has accidentally met their heroes and then regretted how it came out of their mouths or whatever. Also, it features one of only a handful of jobs that are available in rom-coms, and it's bookshop. Yeah. And so for that, I appreciate that they didn't try to do anything different. They were just like, yes.
This is part of the template. They're setting the template here of preposterous rom-com jobs. If you're not an architect, you own a weird business.
Restaurant owner.
Yeah. I love movies about movies, obviously.
Yeah.
Love movies about
Meta
movies.
as hell.
Love them.
Well, actually, I have
fake movie in this movie, Helix. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, that looked really legit. And I think I want to say there's a movie where Julia Roberts does wear a wig, like her character.
There's a period piece that they were doing too.
Oh yeah, the Henry James film, but I don't know. I didn't know which story it was, which Henry James novel.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but there is. I think it's possible. I could be wrong here, Erin. You might be thinking of the film Closer, coming soon to this very podcast, where starring Julia Roberts, but Natalie Portman wears an incredibly similar wig.
Oh wait, no. I've seen Closer. I have seen Closer. Okay. But let me maybe I've been like watching videos about like face proportions. I know that sounds really
wild. As one does.
Okay, great. Wonderful. So not in the dark here, but they were talking about how, Julia Roberts comes across as so striking because she's kind of extremely, like, she doesn't have big eyes and then a nose and lips, or like a big nose and then little, everything pulls you in. Her eyes, her nose, her lips, they all just work very harmoniously. And then she doesn't have a very big forehead. So when she wears bangs, it's kind of, she's still beautiful, but it's technically like sort of less flattering on her because it really, doesn't balance out her face because everything is so right here. So when she wears bangs, you're really just like looking at this.
That makes sense. And I have noticed there's some hairstyles that aren't for her, but I didn't know why.
I think it's the bangs. It's bangs really. Her face is there's so much drawing you in that she actually needs a little bit of forehead to like balance her out. But in some like examples that this video showed, they kind of showed her in like a wig with bangs where she looked like that. But maybe it was from this movie. So I could.
Or is it a blonde wig from the film Pretty Woman?
Oh.
Because at the beginning of that movie, she's wearing like a short kind of bob blonde wig.
That's right. She's got kind of like a little choppy, and actually she rocks those, to be honest. Oh, wait, no, wait. Oh, here it is. She's Mother's Day.
Oh, Mother's Day.
Her hair in the movie Mother's Day is a very similar bob, and
you're 100%
that's
right.
What it is. It's a lot more red, but yeah. So anyway, I forgot how I got onto that.
Wow. Because I mentioned the fake movie in the movie, and you know what? I'm glad we could solve this mystery.
That's right.
Because it would have ate all of us alive. Wow, that is. I'm looking at the poster for Mother's Day, and that is a haircut.
Yeah, I unfortunately saw it when I was trying to figure out which ones we're doing next, and you were like, haha, Aunt Broly, and I started scrolling, and then I saw the poster for Mother's Day, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Featuring Jennifer Aniston. This is going to be that. I say it's another fucking Gary Marshall movie. Next year, let's just knock out all the holidays. We'll do Valentine's Day. We'll do Mother's Day.
Oh, God.
Like, let's just fucking... Let's get rid of them. Get them out of here.
New Year's Eve.
Thank God she's not in that one. If I had to watch like 3 of these fucking movies in 1 year, I think I'd lose my mind. Yes, amazing. Anyway, Notting Hill, spectacular, wonderful film. Yes. If you somehow are listening to this and you've never seen it, hopefully this episode is a ringing endorsement. I really liked it when I first saw it, and it improved on a rewatch. That's a Julia thing. I think that's part of her appeal.
Yeah.
Her movies are going to kind of creep up on you. They're going to, like, Mystic Pizza kind of sneaky, like, picking up half a star on the rewatch, and I think Notting Hill did the same thing. I think she's got a cozy charm, but she also has kind of, like, a brassiness about her. She's not going to take any guff, She kind of, she's got a, forgive me, she's got a fire about her.
Wow. some Scorpio Leo moon Cancer rising energy about her.
Too true.
Specifically?
I can't speak to what any of that just meant, but I would say yes. I will agree with you. Well, Erin, thank you so much for joining us. It was a true pleasure. Why don't you tell the nice people in Listenerland what you're up to? I think someone is dropping a new single.
That's correct. Yes, I am. If you can follow me, I'm at ER Harland, ERHARLAND. I am the one with Hugh Grant from Notting Hill, listening on set headphones as my picture. And I'm releasing a new song. I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, follow me along. And listen to I have other music out too. And it's very coming of agey, about lovey type songs. So, all fits in with this.
It's very good. I love that first EP. I'm very excited
thanks,
to hear more because I played it out. You know
I
what
think
I mean?
you're gonna.
I need more. I need new music.
I think you're gonna like it. It's very poppy. It's very poppy.
Amazing.
So
good. Good. Wonderful. Kat, anything?
I'm Kat Scott online on the Instagram, and you can check out my link in bio to see if I've made any progress yet on my queer little virtual space. And also, I just want to say that Bottoms is a fun movie, and much like Julia Roberts movies, it was even more fun on a second watch. But the campiest thing about Bottoms is that Rachel Sennett and Ayo Edebiri at the very beginning are constantly talking about how they're ugly. And I don't get it. I couldn't buy into it. Took a while to immerse myself because those aren't ugly people. And it was just one of those actor things where it was like a hot girl wearing glasses, but now we saw it with the gays. Right. Where it was these hot gays being like, we're so frumpy, and it just didn't make sense. And that's been on my mind.
Hilary Duff in Cinderella Story, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What
exactly.
a loser.
Brittany Snow in John Tucker Must Die.
Exactly,
My classic
exactly.
example. They don't do
now we
anything to frump up Brittany Snow.
Now we have our lesbians.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's representation.
Yeah, lesbians need to feel ugly even though they're not too.
It's
Finally a story
100%.
That was told.
Finally. It's like, finally,
Progress.
lesbians are also getting mediocre rom-coms. You know what I mean? That's equality. Getting stuff that is mild as well.
I don't think it's mediocre, though.
I didn't see Bottoms. That's not what I was talking about.
Yeah, I think it's I guess it's the plot of American Pie and Fight Club put together.
That's so true.
But lesbians.
1999 specials, both of them.
I will say that I think that, like, I don't know, I guess in a way something like that always feels like slightly realistic because I feel like there are a lot of like beautiful people who don't think that they're like beautiful, or they, especially in high school when it's all the social whatever's, the system is run around like just somebody determined that someone was the popular person and somebody else was not, and but I will definitely keep this in mind because they are two very stunning people. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, it was just a lot of throwing the word ugly around to describe people that I wasn't expecting from sort of like a Gen Z tale. I thought they would use other ways to belittle people than a very like outdated, that person's ugly. And like it comes up a few times. So I'm like, I wonder why this is the lens.
It could be. Are they in high school in that?
Yeah,
film?
They are.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's it. No teens, feel at home in their own body. But I could be wrong.
I feel like it's like the constant mentioning of it sounds like it was the like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, if it had been mentioned once, I would have forgotten about it.
Eh.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
All right.
It's interesting.
All right.
So interesting. So that's a hearty recommendation for Bottoms.
See it.
Yeah. Let's, Kat, do we want to, before we go, do we want to tell people what's coming up next?
It's coming
on
down
Run
the pipe.
Julias. I know we gotta lock this in. We were kind of talking about this over text earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to misspeak, but we have a couple.
What have you done so far? If you
We
don't
did.
mind
We
me
started
asking.
with Pretty Woman.
We did.
Because you have to.
Of course. Gotta.
Then Mystic Pizza.
Right.
And then Ocean's 11.
Okay.
And now we're rocking here. And you are episode number 4.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Kevin has 2 friends who happen to be dating each other.
Who happen to have separately chosen movies directed by Mike Nichols to cover on this podcast.
So we'll probably do those together.
Yeah, in what I will call Nickelvember.
And then I've already seen Closer because I knew that was coming down the pipe, and I'm obsessed. I'm excited to talk about that.
I'm ready.
I might even watch it again.
Yeah.
I listened to that 20-hour Mike Nichols audiobook the last month. I'm ready. Let's rock and roll. Let's go. Yes, and so are we doing Mary Riley? I guess is my question.
Yeah. So it's spooky season. You can expect a Mary Riley. I didn't know about it. She hasn't done a lot of spooky movies, so that's going to be our spooky season. But you'll probably hear a few before then.
Yeah, we'll figure out the order, but we'll get it done. So Mary Riley, where she plays the GF of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, we will be covering
so Polly.
that. I know, because it's the only thing on her filmography I think that even close to qualifies as horror. She did not have those early career like Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun or Renee Zellweger in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like she didn't have any of those, so this is the only one we'll do Mary Riley. Where again she plays GF of Dr. Jekyll, streaming now on Tubi.com, free with ads, and that's next on Run the Julias. We're gonna run the Rileys.
So let's watch along with us and text me if you've listened to this.
Text me directly. Yes,
my number is 55555.
Yeah, and let us know about those bees and ants, whatever they are.
Yeah, if you have ant bully information, I'm not kidding. DMs are open on all social media platforms.
Please send us what you know about the production of ant bully.
If you have ant bully details.
Yeah.
I need them. Please.
Any degree of separation of anyone who worked on the film.
100%. If you got coffee for the cast of the Ant Bully,
Key
I
grip.
want to
Best
hear
boy.
key grip on
VFX.
the animated film.
film.
If you are John A. Davis, director of the Ant Bully, please DMs.
If your children who feels like your dad, who the director of the Ant Bully wasn't around enough, and you want to speak to that experience of how Ant Bully broke up your family, we would love to hear that.
My dad was always too busy with his Ant Bully. He missed my graduation.
And then he became an Ant Bully himself.
No, my dad's a little ant.
Joaquin Phoenix actually prepared for this role by dressing as an ant.
Too true. Wow, the auteur behind the Ant Bully is the brain behind Jimmy Neutron.
Obviously.
Movie
Wait a
and
second.
show.
Wait, okay, now I gotta watch it because Jimmy Neutron was a banger. That was a banger. All right, that's where I'm leaving off on this podcast. Is that I actually do have a reason to go watch the Ant Bully now.
Gotta go watch the Ant Bully.
If I can find
it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's gotta be. Come on. It's gotta be somewhere. You gotta be able to dig up the Ant Bully. If failing all else, I'll find a copy that fell off a truck. I'll make sure you can get a link to the Ant Bully.
Thank you.
Perfect. Put it on my Plex server. So anyway, this was our episode on Notting Hill. Yeah, a screener that I definitely destroyed after I watched, as instructed. Definitely did that with all my screeners. Quote unquote. All right. Get out of here, audience. Leave. I'm just a boy standing in front of a microphone. telling you to get out of here.
Lies, lies, you're telling me that you'll be true. Lies, lies, that's all I ever hear from you. Tears, tears, I shed a million tears for you. Tears, tears, and now you're loving someone new. Someday I'm gonna be happy, but I don't know when just now. Lies, lies, you're breaking my heart.
Tastes like you, but sweeter.
Please tell your friends about this show.
That was quite a show, very entertaining.
I want to live!
This has been a Talkback Podcast.